My dearest friend, I have recently journeyed to Nagasaki. For me, coming from Portugal, this city holds a special meaning. Our two countries have long been bound by the sea, and Nagasaki has always stood as a symbol of that connection. As I stood at the harbor gazing out over the waves, the Tagus River of Lisbon rose in my memory, and my heart grew warm. My first steps led me to the Peace Park. The great statue of peace stretched its hand toward the sky, embodying both the shadow of nuclear threat and the yearning for harmony. I lingered there, watching the figures who prayed in silence. When I entered the Atomic Bomb Museum, the air grew heavy and hushed. A melted church bell, scorched Bibles and rosaries before them. I felt as though faith and community itself had collapsed. When the voices of survivors echoed through the film, I could not hold back my tears. They were not only tears of sorrow, but of empathy, of responsibility, and of shame as a fellow human being. In a quiet corner set aside for prayer, I closed my eyes and offered a prayer for the victims. My heart grew lighter. This was not merely a place of tragedy, it was a space where grief could be transformed into hope. Later I walked to Dejima. That small fan-shaped island, built upon the sea, was once the only gateway through which Japan touched the outside world. As I wandered its narrow stone paths and restored wooden houses, I felt as though I had stepped into a 17th century port. Spices, glassware, books, objects of trade spoke of the exchanges of long ago. At dusk I sat upon the pier, watching the sun slip between the buildings, and the scene was quiet, romantic, tinged with nostalgia. I climbed to the Glover Garden next. From the hilltop, the panorama of Nagasaki and its harbor was breathtaking. Within the garden stood Western-style houses of the 19th century, moved and restored, the most famous being the Old Glover residence, the oldest wooden Western house in Japan. Stone steps, tiled roofs, and wooden verandas blended harmoniously, evoking both foreign charm and Japanese grace. Flowers bloomed with the seasons, and as I took photographs against the backdrop of sea and city, I felt as though I had wandered into the age of the foreign settlement. By evening I ascended to the Inasayama Observatory. The city lay bathed in light, its night view counted among the 3 most beautiful in the world. To see a city once scarred by war shine so brilliantly, this, I thought, is the essence of hope. I did not forget the pleasures of the table. At the market I tasted Nagasaki champon. The broth, rich yet refreshing, brimmed with seafood, and the noodles were delightfully springy. Afterwards I savored a slice of costella. To know that this sweet, brought centuries ago from Portugal, has been cherished for so long filled me with quiet joy. At night I slipped into a small izakaya tucked in an alley. Lanterns glowed softly, laughter and the clinking of glasses filled the air. When the man beside me raised his glass and said kanpai, I felt the very spirit of Nagasaki. Sea and history, warmth and humanity all seemed gathered in that intimate space. On the final evening, as the sky of Nagasaki burned crimson, I lifted my gaze and thought perhaps tears are not only sorrow, but bridges between worlds. And so tears came again, but this time they carried not only grief, but hope. My friend, I wish for you to come to Nagasaki one day, to feel these landscapes and the warmth of its people with your own heart. When that day comes, let us raise our glasses together and share the stories of this city. Yours always, Johanna.